Hola, ¿qué tal a todos? Yeah, I just wanted to do a new, intro for this, um, video. Today, since it's, like, dead silent in the house, I'm just gonna be, like, kinda quiet today. Um, I stayed home again. I think I might have strep throat. See, since we have, AJ now, who's my, sister's son, AJ had strep throat, and so did Connor, and right after I started having the really bad stomach symptoms, I started getting some throat pain the next day, and I still have it. So yeah, I'm staying home again, which is why, it's like really, really early time, and it's on Monday. So yeah, but that's not what I'm here to talk about today. Today I wanted to talk about my history with a voice acting and how I started, when I stopped, and when I picked it back up. Basically, when I was really young, kids with ADHD, they do weird things. They do really weird things. Young kids do weird things, anyways. My big thing was copying noises, and trying to do voices. Not exactly doing very well, but copying noises. Is one that I definitely remember was trying to do the sound effect from SpongeBob where they close their eyes, the kind of sound. And that was one that I just completely remember, and there's one reason why. Because this tooth right here, for some reason, it would always hurt when I did that. And one day, yes, I always go off track with my stories. One day, I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm tired of this, so I yank on it, yank on it, yank on it, and yank on it, like all day. And this was like when I was 8 years old. I was pissed, so I just yanked on it and yanked on it, yanked on it until it came out, and I was perfectly fine with that because it didn't hurt. I'm like, yes. I'm like, okay, so you're gonna hurt. Challenge accepted. And then, fuck yeah. I don't know. So that was one of the things that I used to do. Now, when I was 10, I was very alone and kind of depressed. So by that time, I was just like, okay, well, I just came up with an imagination thing, and like an imagination world, kind of like scenes going around, stuff like that, where things actually go, stuff like that. I'm not going to go into detail into that because that's kind of personal and stuff like that. But basically, I had like two parts of me. The two parts that basically represent me. Um, they were two people who were cousins. Two guys that were cousins, and they were born around the same time. They were like the best of friends. One's name was Kevin, and he was extremely smart. And then the other guy was, of course, using my name because I'm unoriginal like that. Um, who basically had more personality and was a lot more popular, and cooler, but he was basically the hero. Wow. Kevin was in there, like, giving details and being the smart guy, that kind of stuff. That the thing was that I had I had a different voice for the smart one. I had a different voice for him. His was slightly higher, more intellectual, as the other guy was just me. And this is all stuff going in my head. That was like the very start of my voice acting. Basically, I used to kind of try to copy voices, and well, those were just like ones that I just kind of picked up from random. And then, as things progress, things just go on and on and on. I play scenes in my head so many times, scenarios and stuff like that. I've always really done that. Watched a lot of TV and stuff like that. Gone gone through all those imaginations probably until around the time I was maybe 13 to 15. I stopped completely doing that. Although, I mean, now it's more so just like real life situations, and sometimes like just random skits that happen in my head, just for no apparent reason. But that's basically like, um, I mean, around that time, I basically like dropped it. I basically dropped voice acting at all, trying to do voices and stuff like that. I did little stuff, but I completely stopped it. And then, while I was on Xbox Live, yes, Xbox Live, um, around that time was when I started discovering my voice after it changed, which was the first thing that I actually discovered was that my higher pitched tone, I used to like always kind of like scream when I was playing games, just like not like a really like oh my god, just like an just like completely yeah, I know my voice cracked because my voice is very stiff at the moment, but just kind of like a surprised scream, just like a random reaction, just I don't know, I just did it, and then one day I couldn't do it, and then they were like, my friend Warthog actually, who was English, he was like, where's your Game Pro scream? And I'm like, what? I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. And it took me a little while, but I relearned it within like the week, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I did it. Um, and that was also around that time. That was also around that time where I discovered my deeper set range, my much deeper set range. The funny thing was that my friend, this was like my freshman year. I was 14, 15, and my friends were just like for some reason just like did like a lower voice. Did somebody order a football player, and then they just did like jumping around. I don't remember. It was kind of weird. So I just kind of adapted to it to say, "Did somebody order a football player?" And that's just kind of how I figured it out. I'm like, huh. I didn't really realize that I could do something like that. So, and then it changed to stuff like copying the elites from Halo to something like, uh, come human, stuff like that. Just stuff. That's the basis of that, and then I really started picking voice acting back up, like mimicking voices, in probably around last year. And I mean, I love it. I completely love it. What I feel about voice acting is that, um, well, first off, I'm kind of expressionless when it comes to body language, especially out in public, and my voice is kind of like that too. But when you do voice acting, when you really get into voice acting, you also do body language, and you also change the way your body is. You have almost a completely different mindset and stuff like that. It actually, essentially, if you have a natural ability to do something like that, or you just like know you're supposed to do that, and you can imagine that person's personality in your head, you can make it you temporarily. And that could actually teach you to be yourself, I believe, because I'm a lot more expressive now. When I started learning to sing and voice act, I learned that I was starting to be a lot more expressive about myself. That was number one, and number two, just like a lot of things started to improve in me. Essentially, like I was a nicer person to be around. I was a lot more expressive about myself and my ideas, a lot stronger in myself. I My firm belief is that when I master voice acting, and if any of you guys out there who are quite expressionless, pick up voice acting. Just like you don't even need to be able to do voices, just like think that you're somebody else and try to act it out. Just like put it in your whole body and act it out. You could learn how to be yourself. It's really complicated, but it can teach you to be yourself. Because if you can do body language of other people, you can do your own body language. For me, body language and expression was I never really did it that well. I was just kind of like the kid who would just sit there and just kind of, yeah, I see that, or just like read a book and say, yeah, I see that, but you couldn't tell. You couldn't tell that I was like trying to talk to somebody because I was so shy. I couldn't look at somebody in the eye. I still can't really do that all that well. Um, I'm sure you can probably tell, but um, I was always like that. Just like I would do my best to control myself, control my own body, and I guess some of the acting has really taught me how to be myself. Um, that's basically it for this part. I want to do two parts of this because I want to go a little bit more in depth with it. Um, and I'll see you guys next time.